MSME's role in decarbonization. MSME, most of you know. How many are members of MSME or come from MSME sector? Oh, quite a few, quite a few. Good. MSME is micro, small and medium industrial sector. And the current turnover limits of MSME have been raised recently in the last budget, and now start with 10 crores, 50 crores and 500 crores. So pretty good turnover limits are there now for the industry. Now the role is to define what MSME can do. What will be their efforts to decarbonize their activities? To discuss with the panelists here, we have got some eminent speakers and panelists here. But I would first invite our industry stalwart. Can I see Mihir here? Yeah, industry stalwart Mihir. Mihir is the past president of RATA and a secretary of ISHRAE now. So Mihir, please join me here. Yeah. And you have the names of the panelists. Here. Yeah.
The name of the panelists are on our panelists.
Yeah. So I would like to invite the panelists now, starting with Sachin Maheshwari. Sachin Maheshwari is known in the industry as a past presidential member of ISHRAE, and now the president of RATA. Please welcome him with a big hand. Welcome, Sachin.
From eldest past president to the youngest past president.
Yeah. You heard that? From eldest past president to the youngest past president. Ajit Panikkar, CEO and Pure Blue Technologies. Can we have Ajit here? Welcome, Ajit. Nilesh Trivedi, Assistant Director, MSME Indore. We have a local guy to talk about MSME. Architect Gaurav Virmani, founder of Studio Line Design. Welcome Gaurav, and also welcome architect Anurag Bajpai. Yeah, so we have two architects in this panel. Mr. Ganesh Pathak, Head EHS and Sustainability, Bennett and Coleman. So, welcome everyone, and here? Can I see Where is Ashish? Oh, such a, yeah. It's a pleasant surprise to me. Ashish is industry stalwart again, and the happy news is he's going to be the ISHRAE president next year. So, and MSME covers actually the manufacturing sector, the contracting sector, the service sector, and so many other things. And you all will be happy to know that MSME covers 40% of industrial activity in the country. And naturally, they also contribute to the carbonization. And now we are going to hear from them as to what is their take on the decarbonization. And I think I would request Mihir, please come here.
Yes, sir.
Mihir, to please take over and question them, or whatever, the way you handle it.
Sure,
I know he's an expert guy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
That's not the energy what we are looking at. I know we are talking of decarbonization, thodi energy zyada. Good afternoon. That's the energy what we are looking at. So, very fancy name, decarbonization roadmap for MSMEs. Simple सवाल, करना क्या है? बोलते बहुत कुछ है, करना क्या है भाई? Simple steps में बता दो क्या करना है. You all have that confusion? बड़ी बड़ी बातें होती है. End of the day इसको implement कैसे करना है? Vision to discussion, 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 discussion से action नहीं होती. तो अब discussion से action का समय है, and I think we cannot have more worthy panel than who are sitting here. So I'm going to start this, Ashish ji, thank you so much for joining for a very last moment. I know you have multiple meetings, but he said that he will be there for this panel. And I mean, he has graciously accepted this invitation absolutely last minute and went to be present in here. Decarbonization का पहला मायना या महत्व मैंने आपसे सुना था. First time I heard, I remember around, I think pre-COVID, you had done one session and you started talking. Till then किसी को मालूम नहीं था. This industry, ladies and gentlemen, is slated to grow 8 times in next 2 decades. और अगर इतना सारा HVAC&R बढ़ने वाला है, इतना सारा built environment बढ़ने वाला है, तो सामने कार्बन फुटप्रिंट्स भी बढ़ेगी. तो उसका एक्शन कैसे करना है? आपने कल चेतन सोलंकी जी को सुना. You heard him. Where are we heading towards? 1.5 degrees, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 6 degrees. You heard. And you are seeing the after effects. So simple चीज़, आशीष जी, हम फिलहाल कहाँ पे है? Where are we standing? And what is the simple way of putting discussion into action? That is my question to you.
So first of all, thank you, Mir, for having me. You have taken the cue right out of my book, a wildcard entry, and don't tell him the questions also. So you come here, you get to know the question paper, and then we start talking. It's a great job. So first of all, I think I remember the time when we started speaking about decarbonization. As you said, that we started about few years back, and there was a complete blank in the industry. What is this going to be? And I said at that point in time, which Mayor has quoted at many occasions, those of you who don't understand this will become dinosaurs. And today, in just 3 years' time, the industry is right now running, and especially to see the awareness amongst the MSME has been a big change. And you're doing the panel with the MSMEs right now. Yesterday we had a panel discussion, those of you there in the evening, where from DST, Director of Science and Technology, Department of Science and Technology, the lady was there and she spoke about 50% of India is going to be built in next 22 years' time. Because by 2047, we are a developed country and 50% of India has to be done. Whatever you see now is going to get doubled. That is the urgency. And we also spoke about what needs to be done in terms of where the world is going. So there are three things which came out. One is the technology is coming in a big way to solve the problems that we as human beings are not able to solve. Decarbonization is given. And there was a gentleman from ITC which said that forget about your EPDs, जो आप product की labeling की बात कर रहे हैं, carbon labeling की बात है, forget about that. We are even talking about labeling our food now. So in the restaurant, the food you are going to be served is going to be carbon labeled. World is thinking in that way. And the implementation is not going to happen 25 years down the line, it's going to happen now. Next 2 to 3 years, things will be running in that direction. That is the pace at which we are moving. The corrections and last thing that came out was, one major thing that we are missing here is, a lot of this can be solved by going to the basics, by going back to the nature. Which is, I was speaking to Sunita ji also from Mahindra Lifespace. I don't think she's here right now. And she also said from her experience, she's there, okay. Oh, there she is. From her experience also, it is not an expensive solution. It is a cheaper solution. Just go back to where we were, not leaving behind the technology, but marrying the technology with whatever the learnings you have already had. And we have many such examples of it. I'll not take time. So, short one, because you've got a big panel to take care of. Time is short. next 22 years to do the buildings and also to retrofit the buildings. Because by 2047, all your 2050, all your buildings will be operating at net zero at that point of time. So 22 years to build new, 22 years to correct the existing, to reach that point, and everybody has to participate, each stakeholder has to participate.
So if to sum it up, अगला 20 साल we are talking of increasing business 8 times, and at the same time आप किसी को बेल्ट बांध के बोल रहे हो कि तुझे भागना भी नहीं है.
मेरे बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एक और था कल जो निकल के आया. There was a gentleman from Jules, and he's smart Jules.
Yes.
And very smart man. He said, it doesn't matter. You may be the India's biggest firm, world's biggest firm. You are in for a surprise because the whole world is going to go topsy-turvy, where the smallest of the firm can overtake the largest of the firm. Anything is going to happen in next 22 years from now. Anything can happen. That's the pace at which the change is coming, and you have seen it in just 3 years. It's only the tip of the iceberg you have seen.
So we are moving towards disruption. That's what we are looking at. Great. I'll move on to Sachin. Sachin, you are wearing 2 hats here. As a manufacturer, at the same time, president of RATA. And it was your initiative that you started the decarbonization guidelines for the MSMEs, particularly for manufacturer, for the traders, for the contractors and sales and service dealer, and Ashish ji played a very important role in that. Simple सा सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ आपको. ये roadmap MSMEs को लेना possible है, feasible है?
Okay. So, since you highlighted, I purposely carried this book because I want everybody to know that this was that wonderful work which under mentorship of Ashish, we did it at RATA. This is available at RATA website, and as you see, this is a decarbonization roadmap for MSMEs in HVAC, though this can be applied to any industry. So it's not just specific, and one of the most unique work which has happened probably in the entire industry space. Now coming to what you talked about, taking a cue from all what is written here, okay, and as he mentioned, in this book, there are some, it clearly defines what he's asking. It clearly defines what are those practical, easy steps that anybody can take, even if you're starting this journey. Whether and there is a clear section for the manufacturer, for the contractors, for the traders. Even if you started yesterday, you can refer to this and start moving. Now, specifically, since you asked me from the manufacturer perspective, I'll share probably our journey over last couple of years as to what are those very straight, simple, forward, which I think each one of you can understand the steps that can be taken. And the first and the foremost is the awareness and the consciousness within the organization, which you need to very clearly communicate what is the importance, why it is required, and if your team is well communicated and they all get sensitized, you've won 50% of, and I think 50% of the work is done. The data compilation is another that's the start point. Start compiling your energy usage, your water usage, your fuel usage, your waste aspects, publish it, share it with your team, review it. That's review it every month as a leader of your organization, and take a simple goal of whether 10% reduction, 15%, 5%, whatever you think is feasible, and start taking some actions on that account. Now, when we did this, just with that initial awareness and consciousness, within first 1 or 2 months, we started seeing 10% reduction in water and energy and everything, just with the consciousness. People were just aware, they became little, their habits naturally changed, and they kept on seeing those signs everywhere. That itself made the first big impact. Then start looking for low-hanging fruits, which are there where quick actions with minimal investments, but giving you real good returns. And that will happen when you will start discussing. You will find solutions, whether a simple change of a light, to a motion sensor, to a water aerator, to a reduction of your paper wastage, to those kind of things. Then start moving towards little more, I would say, focused efforts. for energy audits. Look for, and you need not hire a professional for doing it. Internally, you can think about it. Most of your vendors are ready to do such kind of audits for their respective equipment. All of them have today a retrofit wing. They can come tell you where are your inefficiencies, what are the possible solutions, how you can get a quick payback, and then start, again, keep prioritizing whether you first want to focus on those 6 months payback items, 1 year, 3 year, whichever. Keep moving all these steps and you will find innumerous opportunities without really worrying too much about the cost benefit analysis. As I told you, some of these simple steps doesn't really require, and you will have a clear cut payback, which we understand. And in a lot of cases today, if you want to do the capex, the opex model is available. Everybody is moving towards the solar rooftop. You don't want to put a capex, get into opex. And in similar cases, in a lot of other areas in your manufacturing operations, you will get these kind of opportunities. So this is surely possible. Each one of us should start looking at it as this is becoming a necessity. And yes, you want to take, even then, once you get into this, you will also become very conscious of your future actions that you're taking, future purchases that you're taking. It will become part of your DNA that you will start investing in those equipments which are efficient. You will think about those kind of aspects. So that's what I wanted to highlight.
So whatever capex you have invested on,
yeah,
the OPEX which you're leaking, I mean, that has basically leveled it, or you have gained out of it?
Yeah, as I said, in some cases, the paybacks were 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and those, yeah, when you really start looking at aspiring for, high platinum green buildings or those kind of journeys you want to do. But then there is that aspiration, and then gives you your corporate branding and all. Yes, over that, you may need to spend more, but then you're consciously doing it because you're getting some additional benefits on account of it. But for basic working and basic sustainability journey, I think it's a very easy task. In general, as Indians, I think that sustainability is in our DNA. We know how to,
Absolutely.
take the best advantage of things. We were taught right from the beginning, purane kapde deke bhi bartan lena, so we had that basic essence in us.
It's part of our DNA. That is what it is.
So, Mayor, just think, one line which he's saying, which you have to catch, meter, meter, meter. That's it.
What
If you
gets
do that,
monitored,
everything is happening after that. Meter.
Absolutely, absolutely, totally right. Ajit, you have been in contracting, but you have been one of the biggest advocates for adopting technologies into business. Okay? क्या challenges are here ground level पे to implement those technologies, and at the same time, are clients paying for it? Very controversial question, which I'm going to ask you. So, Mike, excuse me.
Yeah. So, Mayor, does anyone want to have a solution which is sustainable? It's an absolute no-brainer. Yeah, of course I want to do solutions which save the planet. The question is, am I willing to pay the price? Right? Now, as a contracting company, as long as you are in that ecosystem where you have to do projects under L1, decarbonization and sustainability is going to take a backseat. If you're not going to talk about the life cycle of the product or the impacts out of what your projects are going to give in sustainability, if those things are not there, then you have a problem on your hand. Two things that are being thought through for fixing that. One is regulation. Can somebody step in and force that to happen? They're all double-edged swords. Regulation. Will regulation further increases the price, which is already on a taxation of 28%, and make sure more people do not have access to cooling? Or the second option is consciousness, which everybody spoke about. But consciousness is what we are doing today. We are all talking about it. That's a very slow process. There's nothing with the sense of urgency that Ashish spoke about. I don't think we're not just going to get there with consciousness. So that's the one big roadblock. I'm saying, since we're talking roadmap, let's come to terms with the roadblocks. If we come to terms with them, then we'll figure out how the solutions are. So this is the one. Second thing, when it comes to decarbonization, what you cannot measure, you cannot manage.
Absolutely.
That has to be understood. So it's not just about building a sustainable, can you keep it that way? especially when it comes to HVAC services and everything that we put in. That can be achieved through digital solutions. And these are not very high-tech solutions. There are IoT solutions available, there are data analytics with AIs that is available. How far are we from it? We are not even close to it. As an industry, as mechanical engineers, we are stuck in an old world. We have not understood how the world has found solution by marrying cross-domain, right? And I think that's a big shift that is required. You'll have to adopt these technologies across your processes and your solutions that you offer to monitor decarbonization and make sure you achieve it. Now, let's say you figure out the first and the second, okay? The third big challenge is, who are the people who are actually going to make these happen on the field out there? Do we even have trained people or people who are even close to that training? Okay, do we even have an ecosystem to train these people? The answer is no. Now, till such time, we don't approach this decarbonization or these problems or these roadblocks. Decarbonization will be a talk in conference rooms, while the need of the hour for us is that we need to find a roadmap that can fix this. So it's a very difficult answer to get. It has to be a collective decision to fix quite a few problems. It cannot be fixed by one person. It has to come through multiple ways. And that is the challenge that we need to figure solutions to.
Thank you. So if we have the intent, we'll definitely find the way, and I think that is the need of the hour. That is what we are looking at. Nilesh, question is for you. For the listed companies, today BRSR reports are compulsory. That is what they are supposed to fill in. Now these are getting percolated down the line for majority of the MSMEs. मैं खाली manufacturers की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, but even service providers, even the traders, सबको they are asking for कि आपके यहाँ पे आप कितने ESG compliant हो और अब decarbonization का आपका road map क्या है. फिलहाल ये carrot से चालू हुआ है, down the line ये डंडे पे भी आएगा. So that is the approach what OEMs have already started taking in. As government, what are the various policy standpoints? What are the initiatives that MSMEs transition को हमें low carbon operations पे लेके जाना है? Or are there any schemes? Are there any avenues, capacity building programs which are there for the sustainability? Can you throw some light from the government perspective?
धन्यवाद. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया MSME जितने भी MSME रजिस्टर्ड हैं वो आज 6 करोड़ 60 लाख हैं. इसमें मैन्युफैक्चरिंग MSME अराउंड 1 करोड़ है. और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने डीकार्बोनाइजेशन के लिए कुछ स्कीम्स इम्प्लीमेंट की है, जिसमें एक है जेड स्कीम, ज़ीरो डिफेक्ट ज़ीरो इफेक्ट, और इसका 50% टारगेट अभी कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है. इसमें हम लोग 5,50,000 का सपोर्ट देते हैं फॉर क्लीनर प्रोडक्शन टेक्नोलॉजी. आपके यहाँ पर 20 पैरामीटर्स से कंसल्टेंट आकर आपकी पूरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट को सेट करते हैं. आपको उसका कुछ फीस नहीं देना है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस जेड, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इम्प्लीमेंट लीन स्कीम, लीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग टूल्स एंड टेक्निक. बीइंग आप इंजीनियरिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है तो लीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का एडॉप्शन इंडिया में अभी भी बहुत कम है. अवेयरनेस का प्रॉब्लम है, जबकि गवर्नमेंट इसका 90% पैसा उठा रहा है, दे रहा है. फॉर द फीस, कंसल्टेंट का फीस फर्स्ट फेज़ में 1,20,000 और सेकेंड फेज़ में 2,40,000. तो वो जो QCI और NPC के जो ऑफिसर्स हैं वो आपके यूनिट में आपको सजेस्ट करेंगे. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, यदि आप एनर्जी इफ़िशिएंट टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट करना चाहते हैं तो रिसेंटली एक गिफ्ट स्कीम इम्प्लीमेंट हुई है, ग्रीन इन्वेस्टमेंट फाइनेंसिंग फॉर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. इसमें आप 2 करोड़ का लोन लेते हैं तो 5 ईयर्स तक 2% का इंटरेस्ट सब्वेंशन है. ये वर्ल्ड बैंक से 6062 करोड़ हम लोगों ने लिए हैं MSME के लिए. और एक सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी के लिए हमने, यदि आप 50 लाख का मशीन सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी बेस्ड प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए लेते हैं, जैसे प्लास्टिक है, रबर है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट है, तो हम आउट ऑफ 50 lakhs 25% सब्सिडी देते हैं, 12.5 lakhs। तो ये सब स्कीम सिडबी स्मॉल इंडस्ट्रीज डेवलपमेंट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया से इम्प्लीमेंट होती है। और रिसेंटली एक स्कीम आई है, वो खासकर एमएसएमई के लिए गेम चेंजर होगा। हम लोग टेक्नोलॉजी में पीछे हैं, अवेयरनेस में पीछे हैं, स्कीम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में भी पीछे हैं। तो ये जो टेक्नोलॉजी एडॉप्शन, यदि आप कोई फॉरेन पेटेंटेड टेक्नोलॉजी लेते हैं या डोमेस्टिक पेटेंटेड टेक्नोलॉजी लेते हैं, तो हम लोग 70% पैसा बॉर्न करेंगे, 30% आपको बॉर्न करना पड़ेगा। इसका मैक्सिमम लिमिट 15 lakhs फॉर इंटरनेशनल टेक्नोलॉजी या पेटेंट, और दूसरा जो कैटेगरी है डोमेस्टिक के लिए 10 lakhs है। इसके अलावा नो हाउ या कहीं NRDC, CFTRI इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से आप टेक्नोलॉजी लेते हैं तो उसमें भी 10 lakhs रुपीज़ हम सपोर्ट करते हैं, हमारी स्कीप स्कीम, जो कि बेसिकली IPR स्कीम का ही एक कंपोनेंट है। तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का टारगेट था कि 1.5 मिलियन टन CO2 का रिडक्शन करना है, 1200 करोड़ एनुअल सेविंग करना है 12,000 MSMEs के लिए। तो अभी ये फिगर 50% तक ही पहुंचा है। तो ये स्कीम्स जब आप लेंगे तभी आप वर्ल्ड क्लास मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग आपकी MSME यूनिट का बहुत बहुत ज़रूरी है। आप लोग, जैसे मैं जस्ट अभी साउथ कोरिया से होकर आया, तो वहाँ पर पूरी तरह से स्मार्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्टार्ट हो गया है, और हम लोगों को इस पे वर्क स्ट्रांगली करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो हम और टेक्नोलॉजिकली बैकवर्ड होते जाएंगे। तो ये जो स्कीम्स हैं, इन स्कीम्स का आप मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट लें। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ MSME, MNRE और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, इनका सबका कॉपरेशन, इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशन और इस प्रकार के वर्कशॉप, सेमिनार, ये सब इसको रोड मैप तैयार करेंगे। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Nilesh ji. I think it's a great initiative, ladies and gentlemen. Gaurav ji, my next question is for you. Majority of the MSMEs who are sitting here, या तो they have their offices or they are putting up their industrial units and all that. क्या स्ट्रेटेजी अपनाई जाए जहाँ पे where they can have a low cost, passive, architectural strategy जो उनकी energy efficiency improve करे and at the same time they become more and more compliant towards ESG?
Yeah, thank you, Mihir. I think MSME segment is the most versatile segment, the most, I would say, resilient segment, whereas architects, we can contribute towards the sustainability initiatives because they are not that large, that they have access to such high quality mechanical engineering support and detailed engineering matrices support. And as architects, we have that biggest opportunity available with us. So in terms of starting from the passive design technologies like your wall window ratios, the old concepts of courtyard development, landscape playing a major role, materials. So technology can play its role, and at the back we get that support from our consultants as well. But these are very basic steps which are actually no cost steps, which if we consciously start from day zero as we develop a project and make our clients aware that about the benefits in a very small and systematic manner, that this is the benefit that he will reap out of practically no investment. And the best case would be, which we also do, is to supplement this through case studies, through actual case studies. So numbers, data, everything is there, but what actually puts them into the right spot and the acceptance level increases is through live case studies. So live examples of what is happening, and with the umbrella of MSME now growing, I think we have more than 30-40% which will be the GDP contribution of MSMEs.
Yes.
And if they do not participate, all of what we are doing at the highest levels will not penetrate and the goals cannot be achieved. So passive technologies, let it be material, let it be design, let it be anything good for the workforce. If they feel good, their well-being is taken care, the climate aspects are taken care. We are not looking at designing box buildings for them, especially all the MSMEs majorly into the industrial sector and the manufacturing space. Exports is a big important thing, and so ESG matrices have already come into place. Nobody can shy away from that. So if a MSME as the biggest contributor, if he is not, and they are quite aware of these challenges now, because their global partners have stopped taking their manufactured goods unless they have these compliances in place. And we as architects have the biggest role there, because they may not be able to afford a whole umbrella of consultants there. But as architects, we can contribute, which is a major thing, and then we can bring our consultants in a small package scenario where they can contribute to the design outcomes. And another very important aspect which I think connects with the MSME today, which I also saw through this conclave as well, is the boot model. So a lot of companies here are ready to invest on the OPEX model in a lot of more areas. Earlier we used to just talk of OPEX in the solar space. But today it is happening in multiple areas, as there are exhibitors here in our conclave as well. So those are large opportunities which we can offer to our MSME clients as we go back. I think that will be a big game changer happening.
So let me sum it up. I think today capital investment is no longer an obstruction in achieving these goals, right?
Yeah.
It is just the approach. आपको आपकी खाली सोच जब बदलनी है, तो देश जरूर
The
बदलेगा.
intention ठीक करनी है. The moment the intention happens, things start rolling. So we just need to work on the intent of the MSMEs and bring them on the table and the acceptance level. Because if we talk of large talks, they also think that it's going to be costly. So that mindset change has to happen.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for throwing that light on that, sir. Anurag ji, the question is for you. Yeah, I think that calls for a good round of applause, please. So, Anurag ji, my question to you is, what is the effective sustainability roadmap which MSMEs can adopt? And मतलब एक डर है ये ESG क्या है, decarbonization क्या? People get overwhelmed. एक ये भी सोच है यार, 2070 की बात करें तब तक तो हम रहेंगे भी नहीं, क्यों इतना सोचे, right? Yeah, I've heard this. यार, we all are talking so much. क्या है decarbonization? 2070 में हमने business कहाँ देखा है क्या हम है कि नहीं है? That is a thought process which needs to be changed. And do you have any success stories or templates that can guide them? I think एक जो डर है वो डर को दूर करने की जरूरत है सर. सर वो चीज.
थैंक यू सो मच मिहिर. आई थिंक तुमने बिल्कुल सही बोला कि जो डर है उसको बिल्कुल हटाना होगा. और फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट मुझे पर्सनली भी लगता है कि उनकी जो बिजनेस स्ट्रेटजी है उसमें सस्टेनेबिलिटी को इनकॉर्पोरेट करना होगा. दे कुड मेक द मनी फ्रॉम इनकॉर्पोरेटिंग सस्टेनेबिलिटी स्ट्रेटजी, तभी शायद वो इस तरीके की किसी भी स्ट्रेटजी को इनकॉर्पोरेट कर पाएंगे. एमएसएमईज अपने आप में बहुत ही सिंपल और कॉम्प्लेक्स दोनों तरीके के बिजनेसेस रन करते हैं. और सिंस यू हैव आस्क्ड सम एग्जांपल्स, आई विल टेल यू मे बी आई थिंक सम ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट्स दैट वी हैव डन. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर मैं प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट, जो टेक्सटाइल प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट की बात करूँ, अगर लुधियाना में just a simple measure could save the unit almost like 40% of the water consumption.
Wow, 40%.
Yes. In Tamil Nadu, a food processing unit could save them almost like 30% energy by utilizing the bio waste energy. There is another example. It may be different one as well. For example, in one of the units in Haryana, we could implement the ISO 14001. And they could be able to export their material or the maybe equipment to the outside world. And these are the specific example which maybe I think it's coming from our side. There are hundreds of such examples. What is important, as maybe I think all the fellow panelists have already mentioned, the mindset change. And it is a very, very important aspect for all of us to understand that सबसे पहला काम उनको यही करना है कि अपने यहाँ पे एक मतलब एक इंट्रोस्पेक्शन हो, उनको एक अलाइनमेंट चाहिए, एक विलिंगनेस तो चाहिए ही चाहिए कि उनको इस एक्टिविटी को इनकॉर्पोरेट करना पड़ेगा. बिकॉज अंटिल दे आर नॉट मेकिंग द फोकस्ड एफर्ट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर एरिया, दे आर बिजी, दे हैव बीन बिजी, दे विल बी बिजी इन मेकिंग द मनी और द बिजनेसेस. आई थिंक दैट इज फॉर श्योर. रोड मैप, यू मेंशन रोड मैप. तो पहला तो स्पेसिफिक मुझे लगता है कि 2-3 स्टेप्स में ही ये चीज़ें ख़त्म करूँगा मैं. पहला स्पेसिफिक मुझे लगता है कि कंपोनेंट है जो कि एक अलाइनमेंट डेवलप करने का है. दे नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस इज गोइंग टू मेक देम प्रॉफिट. The second aspect that I personally see that they need to understand what is going on inside in terms of the data. A lot of fellow panelists have mentioned the data नहीं है और नहीं होता है. Most of the cases में MSMEs के अपने इतने सारे दुखड़े रहते हैं कि उनको ही सुलटाने में उनका टाइम पूरा चला जाता है. तो डेटा कलेक्शन अपने आप में एक अनदर प्रोसेस है विच दे रियली नीड टू फोकस अपॉन. और मुझे लगता है कि अगर वो डेटा मिल जाएगा तो शायद दैट इज़ द फर्स्ट जर्नी दैट विल बी स्टार्टिंग अप. द सेकेंड, एक बार डेटा मिलता है तो शायद यू विल हैव सर्टेन अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि हमारा पोटेंशियल क्या है. बाई एंड लार्ज नॉट ओनली MSME, सभी के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है दैट दे कैन नॉट बॉयल द इंटायर ओशियन. इट इज़ इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड. दे विल हैव टू स्टेप बाई स्टेप द प्रोसेस. तो उसमें जो प्रायोरिटी एक्टिविटी है जहाँ पर उनको लगता है कि दे कुड सेव सम मनी आउट ऑफ इट, दे विल स्टार्ट मे बी आई थिंक एक्टिंग ऑन दिस. तो कहीं ना कहीं जिस चीज़ से उनको पैसा बनता है वो सबसे पहले उनको पहले करना चाहिए. एक बार उनको उस चीज़ का अंदाज़ा हो जाए कि हाँ दिस कुड सेव देम मोर मनी, देन आई थिंक दे शुड गो फॉर द बिगर एस्पेक्ट्स लाइक ESG. इन्वेस्टमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं या डॉक्यूमेंटेशन अपने आप में ही हो जाएगा तो दे विल हैव लॉट ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट देयर ओन बिजनेस. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है. सो दीज आर द 3 मे बी स्पेसिफिक एस्पेक्ट विच आई वांटेड टू हाईलाइट. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you very much. Gyanashi, my question to you. Corporate have already started getting into the sustainability and this is going to get percolated down to the MSMEs. और एक तो मतलब ये एक कंपल्शन हो गया बट एक हमारा ये कल्चर भी बनना चाहिए. इट इज़ आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड ऑफ द डे. हाउ डू वी इम्प्लीमेंट दिस फॉर द MSMEs इन अ वेरी सिंपल स्टेप्स एंड जो किस तरह से MSMEs can prepare for the future regulatory compulsion that is going to come to them or at the same time pressures also. So that's my question to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mir. So, like being a compliance professional, because I am a hardcore sustainability professional, I have worked in different corporates like LG, ITC, Walmart, then media company as well. This now. So first of all, I think we need to understand that how much as a MSME we have. Like there are around already people have told about, people have spoken, 63 million people, like million MSME is they are in the India, and out of 63 they are contributing 30% of the GDP, and they are also employing around 110 million workforce. So this is huge number. This is huge number, not a small number. I have also done some study in PwC, like PwC did some study and around 4,000 companies worldwide. And what they found that the larger companies, bigger companies whose average median turnover is around 3.8 billion, they are pushing smaller companies whose the average million US dollar turnover is around 1.8 or 1.2 in between. So they are pushing these companies to follow the compliances, so follow the all these sustainability practices. Now these companies primarily following the scope 1, scope 2, not only like direct and indirect, like energies which we are producing, but they are falling behind the scope 3. So scope 3 is very new. In European market, scope 3 is mandatory. Like every company have to do some for their emission standards for the supply in the supply chain. But in India, this BRSR practice is mandated only for the 1,000 companies. Like currently it is 500, and by 2017 it would be 1,000, or then later it could be more as well. So these companies has to understand that sooner or later we have to follow, like MSME have to follow all these compliances. And like India currently is also on a evaluation stage, because this guideline came in 2023. This BSR practices, like these principles, they talks about 9 principles. So 9 principles talks about like all air, water, waste, and all HR practices, labor practices, all these practices in place. So it is there. And one of the important insight I found that around 60% of the companies, like smaller companies, they are actually on the track of following the scope 1 and scope 2 emissions. And in fact, they are also able to reduce the scope 1 and scope 2, 60%. And scope 3 is very minimal. And the scope 3, they also started, like there are around 22% companies have, tracking their scope 3 emissions, 22% worldwide. So this is quite a low number. So, but there is a positive in this as well. Like there are 78% companies started looking into the scope 3 as well, because scope 3 is very critical. Scope 3 is in India, it is mandated like those 40, those have a 40% of their emission limit in the transportation or their entire scope 1 and scope 2. Then they have to follow the scope 3. So, so we need to understand that sooner or later this will come. So MSME plays a vital role and they have to follow this. So it's a good one that they take a risk right now and follow this, like our fellow speakers told about that there are a lot of ROI product available they can follow. And there is also one thing is that like in sustainability practices gives saving money as well. It's not like it's an investment, it's a saving money. So once we follow, definitely things will be better, and our MSME also will come at a higher level, and like this which they are polluting the environment at lower level, but once they actually move, they lower their emission level and then higher their GDP and all these things.
Thank you so much. You heard all the panelists. Now, एक ground reality देता हूँ. Majority of the MNCs have already started implementing it, the scope 3 level, in a very soft manner. So I have been component manufacturer for quite a few OEMs, and we had 3 or 4 round of awareness program. Then we were sent forms. We were asked what are the initiatives and all that. I asked the person who was implementing it, बोला यार ये आप कर रहे हो क्यों कर रहे हो? बोलता है अगर आप अगले 3 साल के अंदर इसके अंदर रेडी नहीं हो तो आप हमारी कंपनी के साथ में काम नहीं कर सकते हो. दिस इज ग्राउंड रियलिटी. हम सोचते हैं ये बाद में आएगा, ये बाद में होगा. Your own existence will come into a question. We were talking right now of exports. We were talking right now of GDP. Nearly 43% of the MSMEs in HVAC industry contribute to GDP of the total revenue which is being made in the HVAC and 38% contributes to the exports. It's not a small amount, ladies and gentlemen. और अगर आप ये compliances नहीं कर रहे हो, your existence will actually come into danger. While filling up these forms, when I started looking at the consumption, जो हम बोलते हैं ना, जो नीचे के पॉकेट से पैसे जा रहे हैं वो समझ में भी नहीं आता है, then we actually realize what are the kind of consumptions which are happening, and it is a scary proposition. So please start looking at it into it. I'll leave open, we have time for few questions. If any of the audience you have, or if you have taken any initiatives at your level, what you have done and how it has helped you, it will be a great sharing for this entire gathering. Anyone? Yeah, please sir. Can anyone share the mic please?
Good evening, everyone. I am Sanjeev Jain, Certified Energy Auditor of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. In fact, as a part of my activity, I have implemented several schemes of Bureau of Energy Efficiency on energy conservation and energy efficiency in MSME sector particularly. What Anurag has said, there is a lack of awareness in the MSME because they are very unorganized sectors. And technology is not competitive, cost effective for them. So first of all, them is what are the rules and regulations त्रिवेदी जी साथ में है, त्रिवेदी जी को बताना चाहूँगा कि अगर उन MSMEs को हमने अवेयरनेस के कारण, और हम लोग व्हाट वी डू विद BE प्रोजेक्ट्स, मॉडल स्ट्रीम, मॉडल यूनिट, वी डू द clusters mapping based on the industries and what are the best practices is available. We share them and we implement them. So this is unless until we create the awareness and example for the other industries for the implementation of energy efficiency and energy consumption for the all, not only the HBSE, for all processing things. So awareness and technology intervention and policy regulation for the MSMEs for the implementation of the decarbonization in their own industries.
Thank you. I'll address this question, Ashish ji, to you. You are being part of ISHRAE and you have been also taking this very actively on the decarbonization and at the same time leading Margdarshak committee for ISHRAE. In fact, that is one of the 11 deliverables what the committee has come up on the decarbonization. Would you like to throw some light on that?
Sorry, what is the question? What should I throw light on?
The question is, you are seeing the roadmap forward and the industry is basically asking for this. So how do we now start implementing this more effectively, and how do we, all these associations working in silos, how do they come together and they start implementing it?
So it's a very big question, Mayor. And I'll just, before I go further, what I was going to ask and what I was going to state was, while we talk of MSMEs, we just stop at the manufacturing. We are not realizing MSME definition includes many more out there. So now you have taken care of, let us say, the large manufacturers or large users. You come down to MSME, but there's a significantly large number which is still untapped, including the residential segment, which is growing without any control. There is nothing which the government is able to do or is doing right now. We do have the ECS, BCs and all that we talk about, what we call a ENS, Eco Nivas Sahita, but it is not a mandate at this point of time. So there's a larger thing which is slipping away from us. So that's one element, and hence whatever solution we come out has to be comprehensive, and ISHRAE, society like ISHRAE, has a major role to play. When we went out, what he spoke about Margdarshak, since we have 2-3 minutes, I'll talk about it. ISHRAE took this initiative of going around and talking to the stakeholders, which does not include only the HVAC professionals, but from government to education institutions, to end users, everybody they spoke to. The crying need was ISHRAE has to come out with things that where we are able to make, जैसे कहते हैं जागरूकता करने की ज़रूरत है, which is what ISHRAE has to do. Platforms like these are required in order first to grow awareness. Once you have grown the awareness, you need to show them the path, and the path has to be multifaceted. It cannot be just for large users. It cannot be just for green buildings. It has to be for everybody. That path has to come out from here. Third, you have to do capacity building. The green building movement, yesterday I was along with him at one of the IGBC event. We spoke about 14,000 building, 14,000 buildings are there which have gone green as per, or projects, not building, projects which have gone green as per IGBC. That's the number we spoke about. Do you think India is 14,000 in 25 years? What about the 140,000 that we have missed, which are not even talking about decarbonization? The whole journey is missed. And that's why it was saying next 22 years is about correcting those also which have not gone green. So ISHRAE has to play right from coming out with the standards, capacity building, awareness. Every activity has to be taken over. This is what the industry was demanding. Not only that, the one biggest thing that they wanted was they would like ISHRAE to become a conduit between the government and the industry. The word that they have used is, I will not say it canvassing, but what we are saying is that you need to be working closely with the government to influence their policies also, because at the end of the day, they need the industry connect, which is what we can provide to them to help them to bridge that gap. So there's a lot which these bodies like ISHRAE have to do going forward, the professional bodies like us have to do.
Thank you. While on that talk, I think, Ajit, very briefly, I would like to talk on the capacity building on the Skeleton. You and Sachin, what you took it forward, and I think how it has been implemented and what is the impact on the industry.
Yeah, so one of the programs that we actually spoke about, which is the third piece, is, how do you actually prepare your workforce at scale and at speed? We have the traditional approach, which is definitely tried and tested. You call your workforce, take them into a room, you train them, and you put them through an apprentice course and everything. But that's time consuming. The skilling process is not kept in pace with the demand. Now that's where technology intervention comes in. So what we've kind of put together in Skillathon is, how do we actually create this content online, free, accessible to the MSMEs to use? So what we figured out is the MSMEs do not know how to train while they want to train. They do not know how to train. So can you get the best content and make it free and easily accessible on current platforms at no cost, where they can use this a number of times to keep skilling their own people at their work, but use high quality training methods from the best people. So Skillathon was one such session that we did. We had 19 different topics which was important for the industry. Content was created and is available free online, and close to about 3,000 odd MSMEs are now using it to skill them. So building that content over the period, probably we are hoping over the next 5 years, we should have maybe about close to 400, 500 such easily accessible content. So you democratize that data, make it easily available, and bring more and more stakeholders to solve a problem at scale. That's the way we look at it.
Thank you, Ajit. Sachin, last from you. How RATA, ISHRAE, various other associations can play a role together and actually start with these baby steps forward?
Sure. Yeah, I think as you and Ashish highlighted, we all need to connect together, and there is this common problem which we all understand, and we all have a role to play. ISHRAE plays a pivotal role in developing, the basic technical know-how. But RATA plays a vital role, because RATA, if you see, out of the total HVAC workforce, 70% of the workforce is employed by the RATA members today, because that's where the bulk of the technicians and comes in. So to make it implementable to them, that awareness has to be done. So, and that's how I think all these bodies, and even if you look at the RAMAs, which constitute the balance 30% of the workforce, they have been also doing their bit, and a lot of RATA members are indirectly connected with all these large companies. So there is this requirement of comprehensive work towards this common mission, and luckily all three bodies are very well connected, keep getting engaged. But yes, a more concentrated effort will bring the right result.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, gentlemen, for amazing insights, and I would request Arvind Surangi to just sum up the panel, please.
Friends, it's a very unique occasion when you have a galaxy of experts from various fields. We had experts from ISHRAE, ASHRAE. We had architects, we had members from the industry, and we had from the BE, right? Who's from the BE? MSME. Yeah, MSME, yes. So it's a beautiful mix of people, and everyone is fully aware of the problems today, carbonization problems, and everyone has his own thoughts. And I think they have beautifully expressed their views. I think let's all give them a big hand. And I would like, on behalf of this thing, I would like to thank each one of them. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, our esteemed panel, Mir Bhai and Arvind ji. I would like to first request Arvind ji to felicitate Mihir Bhai and our panelists in the order. Guys, can we have the mementos, please? Firstly, to
I thank all the audience, yes, for keeping so late with us.
Definitely, and I think it was a very nice session. So first, to Mihir Sanghvi for an excellent moderation of the session. memento and big thank you to Sachin Maheshwari ji, MD Carry Air Group. Mr. Ajit Panikar from Pure Blue Technologies. Next, Mr. Nilesh Trivedi, Assistant Director, MSME Indore. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Next, Architect Gaurav Varmani ji, Studio Line Design. And Architect Anurag, online quiz right after this, so stay tuned. Architect Anurag Bajpayee. Mr. Gyanish Pathak. And our wildcard panelists, Mr. Ashish Rakheja. Lastly, I would like to invite Urvesh Shahji to kindly come on stage and felicitate Arvindji for his, for an excellent leading of the panel. Urveshji, please. Thank you, Arvindji. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, Mayor. And most importantly, thank you all the delegates who are with us here today.